This is Christine McMonagle, and I would like to talk about an improvement area that I need to put a plan together to enhance my leadership skills. The one area that I want to work on in the next several months is focusing on more direct communication with my team members, to be less afraid of offending them by saying something in a direct method. I need to improve upon this because being able to communicate directly with your team and clearly is a valuable asset to have in order to get the response you need from the people you're working with, and in order to avoid delays, confusion, miscommunication, and end up causing maybe more of a problem than you're trying to resolve in the first place. So if you used a direct communication approach as opposed to dropping hints, for example, which is one of my favorite ways to communicate apparently, we would be able to avoid some of those problems. There's two specific instances that I have on the two programs that I'm working that I would like to address. One is on an individual level, and that actually stems back to my initial video when the class started on having communication problems with one of the coworkers that I have on my team. He communicates a little bit differently than I do, and I hadn't worked with him before. So once I picked up on his communication method to get my message across, everything started going smoothly. However, because I used more indirect method and suggested or dropped hints and didn't come out directly and say, I need you to do this and I need it by then, I would say, hey, Jim, when you get a chance, could you do this? That would be great. I'd appreciate it. But I didn't give any timeline, and I didn't specifically indicate that there was an urgency to it. So I often didn't get the information that I needed when I needed it. I've learned a little bit about how to try to work with him on that, but I still have that concern or fear in the back of my mind about causing tension or stress between the two of us in our working relationship. I'm trying to get over that, so what I'm going to be doing now as part of my plan is to record when I have a communication with him what method I used, and then record whether or not the message got through or if I needed to repeat myself several times. The goal on whether or not I actually achieve this more direct communication with him will be if I end up communicating my message once to him and he understands, and I don't have to complete several communications in order to get the point across. The other instance that I'm working right now is a program that's several $100,000 over budget. The problem is that I'm working with a lot of engineers. The engineers want to make the product the best they can, but they don't realize the budget constraints that I need to keep the program within. Because I'm not very clear with them about saying we cannot add any additional scope to this effort. If we don't have to do that to the product, we're not going to do that to the product. I've ended up allowing them to run amok, I guess would be a good word for it, and let them come up with several ideas and approach me with, oh, we need to do this in order to get this document signed off, or we need to add this feature in order to make this work properly. And instead of actually taking a second look at that and communicating directly to say, I need to know exactly why you need to do this, I've tended to kind of take their word for it. Again, just dropping hints that, well, we got to make sure that we don't overspend. We got to watch our hours, make sure that it's not going to impede with what you've already anticipated. And because I'm not being direct, it's not going so well. This week, though, however, I put a new spin on things, and I did challenge several of my engineers on one of the efforts that they were trying to do. By doing so, I ended up saving $50,000. I'm going to do the same approach as I'm going to do with Jim by recording how I communicate, what the response is, and I'll know I've succeeded when I can get my communication done one time with the desired result. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed this class. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.